Namaskaram and a very good evening. Today we have with us Miss Anjum. She's the mother of Beenish SEA final student who is joining us today. Ma'am, first of all, as a mother, what made you eventually join your daughter in Him Life School for residential mentorship? Given that you're saying it's the very first time she's stepping out of the home.
Yes, this is the first time she is coming and staying in a something like a residential school or college. Till now, she has never done that. She was in the comforts of her home with me and my husband. But she has completed her articles in the year 2022.
Yes.
And she was trying for giving CA. First two attempts were not very serious. It was like, let me try giving one group, then another group, or together the both groups, something like that. We were just not able to strategize the things that how she should go about with her preparations and how to clear the papers. But in her third attempt, she became very serious, I should say, and she decided to give both the groups but focus more on the second group. And she cleared one of the papers also in the second group. That was last year, May, and she got exemption in that paper. And the November 23 and May 24 exams were she did a lot of I can say she used a lot of something like strategies.
Right.
Studying with her friends.
And all.
Morning she used to study with one of the friends for one paper. Evening through Google Meet they used to study together. The friend was also not in Hyderabad, she was in Chennai, or sometimes the other friend will be in Hyderabad. So they tried all the means. Sometimes she will go to, not sometimes, for the next 1 year I can say she has joined one study hour type of institute. And many days it used to be after 9 she will be coming back. She drives Activa. So many times, once it is 9 was crossed, I used to be a little disturbed, perturbed, whether she's safe or so. But by the time I'm writing where you are, why don't you start now or something like that, she will be coming home. So it was, matlab, we all were together in that journey. And this year, my husband has also come back. He was on transfer to Mumbai. So many of the months, myself and she were alone with the support of my sister and my mother, who are staying little away from us.
You can push it a bit further.
So,
Just a second. This way.
yeah.
Sorry, one second. So you're saying you took the support of your sister, whom we just saw crossing.
Yeah. They also come to our place. Some decisions, whether she should join this or that, like that, we all used to sit together and decide. Uh, uh, and my younger one also, even though she is
She's
studying
doing MBA at a
MBA,
college.
yes, she's doing MBA. So she was also used to participate in the discussions and tell us ki, this will be good for her or like that. And my husband every fortnight he will come to Hyderabad.
Oh, that's nice.
So we saw to it that we are all together, but somehow the things were not happening the way they should. 32, 34. So she was able to reach there, but not 40. Not average of 50 or more for the group. All those things. So then she only told about you people, and then her one of her friends also came and
So please,
uh,
sure.
uh, told about everything, and then we came. This is our third or fourth visit to you. So we got convinced that here what all was missing, maybe we will be able to get here, like the question papers. We want always and always what we wanted, that they should be checked and discussed with the candidate. That is the most important important thing. So so you have talked about all those things, that yes, here the it is not only the mentorship which is important, but also the discussion on the papers, and a little bit of like a kind of routine has to be followed. That brings lot of discipline. That brings lot of what I should say, SOP sort of thing. That first you should do this. First you should do this. Prioritize these things. They take more time. So finish this thing first. Then we will go for this thing. So like that, those things. I hope it will continue for the next 4 to 5 months, what we have in hand. And with all the support of you and your team, she should be able to fill the gaps what were there. That is what we wish, we hope, and believe also.
So the mother's dilemma, matlab, it goes here and there in the decision making process. A lot of moms actually say that. So, what made you take the final step? What is that one final notch which helped you take the decision eventually?
Sir, I come from a family of teachers. Both my parents were teachers with Kendriya Vidyalaya, and I belong to Varanasi. When I got the job of scientist with ISRO at Ahmedabad, so Varanasi is in east part of country and Ahmedabad is in west part, and I was hardly 23 and half that time. So my father took that very difficult decision of sending me and seeing me. So that is one of the my strengths. And then the second part was, so we have a good number of people who have studied very good things. We have PhDs and doctors, and my husband is executive director with LIC of India. So my sister is with as a banker. So it's a matlab it is there in the family, and she is a good student. She was always a good student. 11th, 12th, her maths number, accounts number, all were very good. So there is a small glitch which is restricting her to achieve that. So we felt, let's take this chance and let's go for it.
Perfect, ma'am. Understood.
Something like that.
So you're actually having a open heart warming conversation regarding, she's like, I'm leaving her for the first time. I'm very close to her, and now it's all started. Then I realized, okay, this is the kind of dilemma which every mother goes through. So we're just capturing it. Now, after speaking to her, I realized something right now. I think at any point of time, we should allow one mother to stay. It's like I was thinking, mom sum bol ke ek room agar chhod diya. One mom is a mom for everyone. Like caretaker takes care of certain things.
Yes.
So all I have to do is create a floating space. Like one mom in the house will be extremely comfortable, and she ensures like all daughters will be taken care. So that is something which I'm thinking. I think most likely will execute it real. So over to you, sir. My dad worked with LIC and he retired as a assistant divisional manager. So that's how it is. Now, when he retired, sir, after working for 34 years,
He retired which year?
2014, 13, 14 in Hyderabad. Ma'am, I'm slightly slowing it down for the video.
वो आवाज okay. हाँ.
So when that happened, after 34 years, yeah, because LIC has been that fed our family for 34 years, largely that was the source. But when I looked at that number at that point of time, I was at CA by that time, that's how we prepared and planned. Numerator was around 35 to 40,000. इतना लंबा डिडक्शन लिस्ट रहता है ना आपका फॉर्म 16 में और सब रहता था. It's like and he wanted me and my sister to join LIC even after all. And even send me to Mumbai for that interview and all so strongly. And he made me talk to a lot of SDMs who had and one RM and all of
I
that.
can assure you, he may be knowing my name, or I may be knowing his name. I'm sure because in 2014 I was already a few year old in Hyderabad, LIC.
Actually, he worked in Nash in Rajahmundry, Nampally, sir. He's Vaikunta Raju. So he worked with Nampally.
Nampally branch number 3,
Yes,
just
yes, yes.
near to the railway station.
Yes, yes, yes. That's where he worked. And then Secunderabad last 1 year. There's one more.
So yes, there is
National
divisional
Secunderabad.
office.
No, not Secunderabad.
Zonal Training Center.
No, no, sir. Rajiv, like Rajbhavan Road पे एक छोटा सा I don't know what.
Acha, 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 that is
Very singular office.
that is customer zone.
Customer to something like that. So that's how it is. So from the father's perspective, again, I'm thankful for the mother's perspective. Like you had a lot of constructive and realistic questions, and we had very good discussions, which will actually help us because when I said, can we help the parents decide in 1 hour? It's actually because of you. Because parents think alike in a certain way. And as a founder, it's always easy to get carried away by certain things. But largely, when you bring us a perspective, that's very helpful. So, what made you initially consider us, and what made you eventually close the decision? Like, what are the two significant factors which generated we call it ADA, awareness, interest, desire, action. So, what created that interest, and what made you choose eventually today?
Like I did not know about him live
School.
till last Sunday. So it is not more than, in fact, it is not even Sunday. I came to know of him live on Tuesday.
Oh,
So 5 days back.
Okay.
On Wednesday morning, I tried calling you.
Hmm.
Obviously, you were busy, so you didn't take the call. I messaged you. Then subsequently, again, I tried in the afternoon.
Hmm.
That day, I had a meeting in ASCII. I had to
Okay.
represent LIC in ASCII in their general meeting,
Acha.
annual meeting.
Near
So-
Governor's Garden.
Near governor's residence. So while returning from the vehicle itself, I tried and I could get you that.
Yes.
Oh, so and my straight thing was that I'm a parent.
Hmm.
I want to speak to you because whatever I had heard from my daughter about the institute, I thought I should go and see.
Yes.
Same day evening, we could come here and let me be very frank. Seeing some students sitting there and seeing you and the initial introduction by you in initial 5 7 minutes, so far as I'm concerned, probably within 20 minutes I had decided that Beenish should go for it if she is also convinced. Of course, if she is convinced and if my wife and my younger daughter is convinced.
Yes, sir.
Because the intensity, the commitment that you have, it was visible in the things around and kind of like mission mode that you are in. That was something very this thing. In fact, I discussed this particular thing. That it is not like I have met a couple of other teachers, other coaching institute heads, and all. It is different.
Yes.
It is different. Here, the commitment part is much more. The financials, the commercials come later. Even if I initially found that the fees and all, whether it justifies, then I thought it should not be calculated by these many months. Per month maximum should be this. So number of months multiplied by the amount should be this. But then the institution, it cannot be calculated that way. The level of commitment and the institution has to grow. That is one thing, and the intensity, and of course the structured part of it. The structured part of it, where the student is given time to relax, time for their own well-being apart from sleep and food, and ensuring that certain number of hours are like devoted every day to study. This structured part of thing, very naturally, we as students at home, not able to follow every day.
Yes, sir.
Maybe 4 days in a week, 5 days in a week, 3 days in a week. It is possible, but for a longer period, for a this thing, For a course like CA, which requires extensive study and in-depth extensive, both are there. We wrote exams which were we where we were like expected to know something of everything.
Right.
There are certain exams where you need to know everything of something. Here, you have to know everything of everything so far as the syllabus part is concerned. So that kind of exam needs more of dedication, time, discipline, and all that. So I could assess and find that that should be possible here, and I'm convinced that it will be possible here.
Thank you.
So that way, it was for me personally. It was first 15, maybe 17, maybe 19 minutes. It was not 20 minutes. When I was like of the opinion that she should go.
So I'm right about anticipating that we can close the deal in 1 hour. So
Definitely, definitely. Had I alone come, and if I only had to take a decision, probably it would have been
then we
in.
should have only fathers.
But then, yes, it had to have the concurrence and the conviction of Beenish, and she has that concurrence and conviction that she should join, and we hope everything will be.
And before I move on to Beenish, ma'am, you are new in the house, so you had a very continuous path. When you had a very short span of understanding.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just within 20 minutes.
Correct, correct, correct.
So what's your inference based on what's happened here so far?
See, what I could see in last 1.5 hours, like my brother-in-law told that he came to know of him life on Tuesday. I came to know of him life even after one later day, that is Wednesday. And that time I was not convinced. Honestly, I said कि ऐसा नहीं होगा. But after having a discussion on Wednesday night, I was 50% sure, right? Because at that time I was just going by what she or like my sister and brother were telling me. But now I am convinced because I can see that you have that dedication for children to pass the exams. For you, ठीक है, monetary thing is definitely there. That cannot be sidelined. But apart from that, you have this thing that these are my students and I have to ensure that they have to clear the exams. It is not about money, it is about that you are producing CAs which is going to help you and the society to grow all together, right? And apart from that, like both my parents were teachers, our parents were teachers, so I have seen them helping students like that I have seen it. So I'm sure Beenish will do good. That's it.
Ma'am, regarding the Monterey part, I actually wanted to work with NGOs forever. From 9th and 10th and 11th, even as a school kid, I spent all my weekends with orphanage homes. There was one incident in my plus two where we were visiting that orphanage home for 2 years. And one fine day, a local MLA wanted to hijack that place and convert it to a bar. That's officially a doctor who is living in US. He converted an orphanage into a bar where we have to pick up each kid and push him to. That day I felt very powerless, very, very powerless. That's one incident. बाद में when we started this, we technically wanted to do this for the lower middle class who got stuck in CA so that we will level it up. We started there. But then we realized for us to not care about money, you need to have money. Like otherwise, you're forced to care about money at every step. So I don't want money in my mind. So that is how eventually we reached it. Because if this has to happen, for example, there were days where we are operating in only one flat. Only one thing could happen: either the students study or we can discuss. So lot of practical things, even for the student to just move around, to just enjoy the space. Unfortunately, it has moved into this scenario. But having said this, if we could move the whole ecosystem to outskirts, maybe where we take a larger area, I think that is a point where we can significantly reduce the living cost because more than 70% goes to. I think some of my startup founders, friends, comment that you are working for the landlords, so you are making money for the landlord. Yeah, yeah. So that is exactly how it looks like. But one thing, even for people who are watching, or even for my own juniors, if you don't want to think about money, have money. That is something which I have learned the hard way. So that's about. So Virish, finally, the man of the story and the hero of the story. Now, you came with a list of questions, very good questions. So eventually, again, I saw that you're reasonably interested, and I like the way you moved from reasonable assurance to near absolute assurance. And I still believe there's a gap, and there should be a gap because otherwise it becomes blind faith, which is dangerous. So, how did this evolve? Like, eventually, when you had to, because your dad said you got convinced in 17, 18 minutes. Probably your mom did not mention a number. Probably she is convinced before you. Now, for you personally, it wasn't easy decision because it's not about the investment, but rather you're investing your 6 months of future into some random guy whom you saw on YouTube. So, how did the decision making evolve for you? And what's the closer? Like, what is that out of the park thing which made you believe that okay, this is it, I'm joining?
I was very skeptical in the beginning,
Yes.
and maybe little. I'm still skeptical because I haven't seen the process and how it
Yes.
happens,
Mm.
and how I would fit into it when it actually starts.
Mm. Mm.
But I feel the kind of environment that you're providing, uh, it would be easier to clear this way.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is almost surety of clearing. And I've come here only with one thing, and that is I want to clear and move ahead.
Right.
So anything that helps in that process, I would like to be a part of it.
Yes. So finally, for people who are still sitting on the fence, who think they want to join and still they're not able to take a decision, what is your advice to them to resolve the conflict? Because this is where they sit on that for months.
Right.
So what do you think they should do when they're not completely sure of either joining or not joining?
I am not very sure what they should be doing, but I feel they should just sit and analyze whether preparing just at home with whatever resource they have versus what you provide here,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is going to give them the better result, they should go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Okay, so what is relatively better is how you
yes,
thought.
that's how they should.
So
The
that's how you
decision.
also decided, like,
Yes, that's how I
instead of
feel.
doing it alone. And final question, it's a slightly, I would say, sensitive question, but I ask it for the benefit of others. Like, at this age where you're supposed to earn, how are you comfortable making your parents investments? Like, what's your analogy or what's your logic behind this?
Um, uh, there is no logic. I'm not uncomfortable with this. I think it is all right. They
Okay,
are my
because
parents,
it's
and they are investing in me today, and
yeah,
there's always the return that's going to come back in future.
that's nice. Yeah, I think this is the simplest because it occurs to you naturally that it just happens.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
all right. I feel